Electrocast.
Why wait to see if you'll get something you like this Valentine's Day when you can go to BlueNile.com and find something you'll love? Whether you're looking to treat yourself to a little winter sparkle or show a galentine how much you appreciate them, Blue Nile offers a wide selection of high-quality designs, expert guidance, and free 30-day returns for the ultimate peace of mind. You can even design your own jewelry. Right now, save up to 50% at BlueNile.com. That's BlueNile.com.
Welcome to Missing the Point. It's the Power Ranking Show, the most consistent thing in your life. Death, taxes, and a weekly Power Ranking Show from Missing the Point. We're talking about who the best teams in the NFL are. Spoiler alert, we don't know.
Who the fuck knows anymore, man? I have no idea.
Oh, man. I was super sure that the 49ers, it was their Super Bowl to lose, that they were maybe going to drop one weird game, which we talked about a couple weeks ago, Bob. And then they dropped two. Admittedly, they're not healthy right now, but that seems to be a sort of a recurring theme for them. So we'll talk about that when we get to the 49ers, which you're not going to have to wait till the end of the show to hear that one these days, strangely enough.
Weird.
But
so weird.
I want to take this opportunity, Bob, because obviously Bobby makes our power rankings list every week. And the reason we started that tradition is because it sort of gets, if he's in charge of the power rankings, then you're basically like the commissioner of the power rankings, you know, so you can sort of understand the plight of an NFL commissioner.
I do. Every time I drop them, I'm like, fuck.
So
here we go.
The kind of point of it was like, I knew you would be brave about them when I sort of put forth that you should just do them every week. I knew you'd be brave about them, and I knew you'd just say fuck it about certain things, which makes them more fun. And it sort of drops a ready-built conflict into our group chat that then sort of spills over into the show. It makes for a higher quality show. So I do appreciate you bearing the brunt of that. I did notice that you sneakily sort of dropped these today at around 7 p.m. So I didn't actually really have a chance to look at them because the Celtics were on. But I want you to explain.
It's like that Monday morning news or Tuesday morning news.
Right,
you know
right. You're
I mean?
like, wait, what happened? But I, this might even be better because usually I come in with a sort of predisposed bias to this list. But now I thought about this at the start of the week. I wanted to ask you this question, and it's something we've never really done on this show for the listeners at home. And I don't mean to ambush you with this, but I think you'll be able to do it. I'd love for you to just take a second to explain to the listeners what the factors for you are when you're sitting down to like write out this top 10 list, right?
Okay.
So we do the top 10 power rankings every week. Now, obviously there's legacy things built into it, roster things, but a lot of the reason is like what you have to see with the eye test every week. So I would love to just get a little bit of an eye into your process when you make them, so people sort of understand when we begin to go through them.
Yeah, no, for sure. I've actually I've been waiting for this, to be honest. So I'm ready for you, bro.
This is my moment.
So my first thing I do is I search for the list from the week before. Anyone who had a debilitating loss or a team that we thought was better than maybe they are, I immediately go up to their name and I delete them off the list because I know they're moving. You know what I mean?
Think about
So
them
like
fresh. Think about them fresh.
Right.
Yeah.
So this past week, like I deleted the Dolphins, I deleted the Lions.
They were
I deleted
number one last week.
Right. So I'm like, okay, they're obviously not going to be there. So I have to find a new spot for them, and I have to find a team to replace them in that spot. So immediately they're off the list. Like that spot is empty. And then I just kind of seed it from there, where it's like teams that won the week before, I bring them up, and teams that lost, I bring them down from there.
Now we do a top 10. So there's 15 or so teams, maybe 12.
Usually about 15. Yeah, I'd say about 15.
But there's about 12 to 15 teams that you never have to think about. Right.
Yeah,
right. There's 12
sure.
to 15 things you never have to think about. So essentially you have this top 10 list, and then you have a little stable of teams that you can pull from to make it easier for you to see what their week looked like, to see if they did enough to crack the top 10. So once you're in a few weeks, you kind of have a nice thing going where, yeah, there isn't like, it's been a bit of a crazy season, but there is some parity across the top 15 best teams, at least I would think. Right.
Well, yeah, and for sure. And the thing is too, is it takes a lot for a team to crack that top 5. You know what I mean? Like the top 5 for the last 2 years has kind of been pretty solid. It's been a lot of Dolphins, it's been a lot of Chiefs, it's been a lot of Bills.
Begrudgingly, the Chiefs make the top 5 for you
every week. It's begrudgingly. The Eagles, the Cowboys have seen a lot of appearances, but That's how I try and do it, is I tier it out. You know what I mean? Like it's teams that are Super Bowl contenders, teams that are kind of Super Bowl contenders, teams that are dark horses, and then usually 7 through 10 is kind of just like a crapshoot. I try and put maybe some fun teams in there
Well, I mean,
sometimes.
secretly, it's nice to like slip some guys in the top 10 just to make the podcast version of the power rankings a little more interesting.
Right. Just
because I want to talk about this team
slip
this week. Yeah,
exactly. It's like what we did with the Steelers for a few weeks this year, because
they didn't
they're
make
the
it. They won
worst
their
4-2
game.
team. Yeah, they're the worst 4-2 team I've ever seen in my entire life. The defense is legit, bro.
I got a theory
Defense
about
is
them.
legit.
I got a theory about them, but all right, go on.
Defense is legit. Offense is the worst ever. What's your theory? No. Let's go. They're not on the list. So what's your theory?
I think that I do want to hear more about the inner workings of power rankings, because this is interesting to me, because I like your system, and it makes more sense to me now as you explain it, why certain things happen, and it makes me feel a little bit better. My theory about the Steelers is Deontay Johnson came back, and I think it made a huge impact on that.
That's big. That is big. Agreed. They look different. They looked like they had a guy. That's the thing. Is Pickens is a guy.
Right. And like Pickens is a clear wide receiver too, but a really, really, really good one. So it's like then he gets one-on-one with this, the secondary cornerback, and the offense just looks a lot better. Najee,
I think you can let Pickens be an athlete when you have a guy like Deontay out there.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think Najee, they made the corrections I was asking for last week with Najee on the run, where they were just letting him go a little bit more north-south and like giving him room to hit holes, which I thought was good. And that shows like a little progression. But I really do think that they want to play a tedious game of football. I think that they want to play a very specific style of game that they kind of manifest from their offense, because what that does is it sort of takes the sting out of the game of good teams when they're playing good teams or even average teams. So then by the fourth quarter, they seem to have a new lease on life every week. Like it's like a rope-a-dope.
It does seem like that, dude.
It's like a rope-a-dope. And then because to me, I think, here's what I honestly think. I think Mike Tomlin, there's an endless fucking debate about Mike Tomlin where everyone's like, he's not that good. Bill Cowher, look how many good skill players he's had. The man's never finished under 500. And I think what he sees in this team specifically is he sees a young quarterback who needs to be protected. And I don't mean offensive line protected. I mean like protected from like the spotlight of the national media. Yeah. I think he sees an ability to win enough games to potentially win that division. Probably not with how the Ravens are starting to shake out and like really starting to figure out those mistakes, but at least a wild card spot in the AFC, because I think the AFC is weak in the middle. I think Tomlin sees this, and I think he knows the games. I think he has the games circled on the calendar that he knows he can win if he plays a certain way. And I'm not saying they because they have the ball on offense for a long time. It's part of why it's so upsetting to watch that team, because their offense is on the field all the fucking time. And what that does is, we know this from experience, a fucking football cliche. It gives that defense so much time to rest, and then they come out and they make stops exactly when they seem to need to make stops. They score points. It seems exactly when they need to score points. He's fully momentum managing every single game. Is it fun to watch? I watch them every fucking Sunday, bro, unless they're playing on Thursday or Monday. No. And then
it's terrible.
I just won the battle of getting Red Zone on the main TV and the Steelers on the secondary TV. They still need to have the sound on. But I just was like, there's a lot of good games on the Red Zone. Do we have to put the Steelers on the main TV? Like the Red Zone's still cooking. It's still cooking right now. So I won that battle, but then they won. So they're probably going to be back on the main TV by next week.
4-2 is hard to argue against, man. Yeah.
That's the thing. So, but like, are they fun to watch? No. Is my wife having fun watching them? No. The win's a win though. A win's a win. Yeah. And this man is managing this NFL season in a way that I think he deserves almost all the credit, because they're flawed. They're so flawed.
They're the most flawed for it.
It's funny, but every fucking year you say this about them.
every fucking year, man. You got to give Tomlin credit where it's due. You know what I mean? You have to. And they remind me a lot of like a bad team in March Madness. You know what I mean? Where it's like it's like just survive in advance.
Gonzaga's like not that
just
good, but
survive in advance, bro. They really do, man. And it's like, you're right.
We're talking about them. We're talking about them, and across the entire national media. Don't just take my word for it, because my wife's a Steelers fan. Across the whole national media, they're part of the conversation. They have to be, because they're 2 games above 500.
They're 4-2,
and they're second in their division. And can I make one minor case to you? I'm not saying it's because they have the best teams in football, but is that the hardest division in football right now? Because the Browns were on the top 10. They're not. They didn't. Doesn't look like they made it back in this week, which makes sense. But the Browns are on the top 10.
They did. They're 8.
Did they?
They're 8. Yeah, they're in there.
Great. Awesome. Browns are in the top 10. Ravens are in the top 10. Bengals are in the top 10 of your power rankings. All 3.
Yep.
Right.
All 3.
So that's a tough division to be second in the division for. You know what I mean? Like, you got 2 teams on this power rankings list that have a worse record than the Pittsburgh Steelers and are below them in their own division.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just saying, I'm not saying you should put them on here because I get where you're coming from, and I don't want to do a whole Steelers argument all season because I fucking hate watching them play offensive football too.
It's so sad to watch, man.
However, it's pretty interesting. They're the only team that seems to be able to pull this off.
Yeah, 100%. It's like the Bill Belichick back in like the 2001 days. You know what I mean? Where it's like, this team has no business being this good. Right. No fucking business, right. But they are.
Can we talk about them?
It's like we can for sure. But it's like the Tony Pollard, Zeke Elliott thing with the Najee and Jalen Warren thing going on, where it's like
he looked okay.
He did look okay. Now that it seems like to have a scheme going where he actually doesn't get hit behind the line every single fucking play.
Yeah, we were talking about how bad their offensive line was on the run last week. That's all been covered. They're so
good. It just seems like they kind of figured something out for sure. Yeah. I agree with the wall to sleep thing. It does seem like that's what they do, man. They're a rope-a-dope, bro. They're a rope-a-dope team. That's what they are.
They're managing the game because they know that, like, and you and I both like Kenny Pickett. We both like.
I do like Pickett. Yeah, I like Pickett.
So something to be said for that. It's too bad that the Texans had a bye week because I know you're itching to fucking put them in here. But
bro,
I'm excited to see them play football again.
But so the thing with this league is right now, like we'll get into top 10 in a minute, but it's just like, I just feel like we're itching for good quarterbacks and teams that are electric and teams that have something to be excited about. And that's what the Texans have to me right now.
I agree.
That's why
you talked me around. You talked me into it. You talked me into it, honestly.
He's something.
CJ Stroud should be my quarterback in fantasy, but some shit went. I'm just kidding.
But you're right though. But that dude is, and I've been saying this for a while. Is like when you watch him play, and you watch other quarterbacks in the league play, bro. It's a different level. And I know he's young, and I know he's got a lot to learn. CJ Stroud was Ohio State. No, that was Bryce. CJ Stroud was
Michigan.
God, this is terrible. No. CJ Stroud. Jesus Christ. Was it? No, it was Ohio State, wasn't it?
Ohio State.
Yeah, it was Ohio State. Is that right? No, I'm doubting it.
It's Ohio State,
right?
I promise.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I was thinking middle of the country.
Where did Bryce?
I knew it wasn't South.
Where did Bryce went to Alabama?
Bryce
was
Alabama. Yeah, he sucks.
Yeah, he's not good. He's not.
He's not good because he's getting hit with the CJ Stroud stick though, because it's like, well, he doesn't have anybody. It's like, neither does fucking CJ Stroud, bro.
Exactly. It's apples to apples with that. Usually, you're like, oh, that's apples. No, apples to apples, bro. Neither of them have anything. Listen,
QBs.
CJ Stroud's number 1 wide receiver is Tank fucking Dell. Tank Dell, and he's just dropping dimes and dropping 300 yards every week. Like, come on, this dude's got it. Give him some guys and watch what happens.
Smoking a horchata flavored joint. It's not good.
Bro, are you kidding me? I was smoking horchata earlier.
I don't think
you don't like horchata.
Well, I switched from bananas and apples. The last one I smoked was bananas and apples, and it was like real tasty. And then this one I was like, it's a little bitter. Maybe with a tequila, this would be good. But I'm drinking wine.
Horchata does nice though. It's a good sativa. It's a good sativa.
It's nice. It's a nice little smoke. Don't do drugs, kids. You might end up on a podcast talking about football with your friend.
Doing shots at 11 o'clock at night.
I do want to talk about the Patriots briefly before we get into the top 10. I've had a change of heart, by the way, and I just want to, because you're the guy I get on record with this stuff every week.
Yeah.
I don't want the Bears to draft Caleb Williams. I got talked out of it
great the past few weeks, man.
Yeah, well, but also I got talked out of it by my buddy who was here watching the Celtics with me. He's like you. He's a big college football fan. So I get most of my college football info from him because I feel like the ship has sailed for me on college football. Like I didn't get into it early enough, and I can't now. Like there's
a
too many
lot to
reasons.
consume. It's
Yeah,
a lot.
I understand it. I get
understand.
the divisions. I get the SEC, and I understand like why it works. And I do start to pay attention
You
to it around the
understand
draft.
SEC is dominant, is what you're saying.
Yes, exactly. But and like all the best players come from there. And I understand that like I know what to look for in college athletes just based on my many thousands of hours watching and consuming sports. But I haven't seen a ton of Caleb Williams, but he convinced me that you never, ever, ever want a USC quarterback on your team. He's like, every single USC quarterback, he's like, and he made a really good point. He's like, there's two things that are always true about USC quarterbacks, with the exception kind of Carson Palmer. He said, they're always trash in the NFL, and they're always supposed to be the next best thing. They were always touted as the best thing to ever come out of college. Mark Sanchez, Matt Leinart. Like these are names where it's like everybody thought Mark Sanchez was going to go into New York and fucking change the entire culture of the Jets.
It didn't bring him to 2 AFC championship games.
It's Mark. You're gonna defend Mark Sanchez right now. You want to defend? I don't think you brought him there. I don't think he was driving.
But before you steered off the road, right? Would you not take Mark Sanchez's career in Chicago right now?
Absolutely
10 times out of 10.
No, absolutely not. This is what everybody has to remember. And I don't know. I don't listen to that gentleman at Barstool. That's the big Chicago guy. He can have that corner. I don't know what his attitude on this is. But what you have to remember about the Bears is
like
as much
you don't
as
remember his name. Like you have no idea.
Big Cat. Yeah, I know who he is. But I do know who he is. Yes, I'm a guy that likes the Bears that does podcasts. Yeah, I'm aware of his existence. I consider us. I consider us equals.
Dude. I don't even know.
I'm trying to dismiss him, but yeah, I get it. I do. I was doing a thing. I am a douche. Your friend's right. So the important thing to remember about the Chicago Bears is we have the winningest record in football as a franchise. We've won the most games of football ever. I understand the whole like, you're playing in like 1902. They were fucking wearing knickers and all this shit. I get it. Our coach is still one rung above Bill Belichick. Big Papa Hallis is still one rung above Bill Belichick for most wins in the history of the league. The Chicago Bears are serious fucking football franchise. People may forget that. I understand why they forget it. I understand why you wouldn't take them seriously in the modern era. I understand if you're like a 17-year-old kid right now, you probably consider the Bears like one of the worst franchises in the NFL based on your experience. But I'm here to tell you that taking Mark Sanchez's career 10 times out of 10 is a low I will not hit, because these Bears are about chips, bro. We win Super Bowls. That's what I want from my fucking Chicago Bears. I want to win a Super Bowl. I don't want to be in the
conference. Way to not lower your expectations.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Come on. You're a Dallas Cowboys fan. You can almost exactly relate to that. Right?
I do. I exactly relate.
You're not going to just take decent, right? You've been decent. You haven't been happy about it, So that's no.
I would take an NFC championship game, though. I would love an NFC championship game in my life.
Friend, watching your team lose in the Super Bowl is a core memory that you cannot fucking take out of your brain with a net.
It's just in there forever.
My friend, my team lost.
I wouldn't know.
Let me tell you the Super Bowl my team lost in. Devin Hester returned the opening kickoff for a fucking touchdown.
You must have been so high, bro. You must have been so fucking high when he returned that.
I was like, here's exactly what
it's over.
It's over. I can reenact it. I can reenact it. This is exactly me. I have to actually step back from the microphone for a second. This is exactly what came out of my mouth. You kicked it to him, you fucking idiots! Go, 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 go. Like that's exactly what went down the entire time. And honestly, it's you kicked it to him, you fucking idiots. That was the craziest thing, because it's like, why would you just take the penalty, bro?
That was wild.
But important to remember, I'm trying to win a fucking championship over here. And also, by the way, that 2006 game, Prince played the best halftime show in the history of halftime shows.
It was amazing.
And that's what everybody remembers.
Purple Rain,
Thank
bro.
God.
Purple Rain.
Thank God Prince played that halftime show, and everyone forgets that was like, Peyton Manning fucking beating up on us. I would love the poetry of getting Marvin Harrison Jr. because he scored the dagger touchdown against us, and that his dad scored the dagger touchdown against us in that Super Bowl, wide open in the safety flat, just caught the ball, just walked it into the fucking end zone game. So it's not a memory you want. I promise you, it's not a memory you want. I think about it before I fall asleep. And that shit was in 2006. So it's not good. Okay, I promise you. If you want to go there, you want to win. Also, it's tough too, because there's that extra week, Bobby, where you're just like stressed. Like there's that week in between the end of the season where you've won your NFC championship game and you got an extra week to wait for your team to play in the Super Bowl, and you're just not in a good place. Like, you're just not emotionally in a good place. I promise you, it's not good. Like, you need to take that week off.
Bro, I've never experienced it, and like I just
Dude,
want
it's not
to
good.
so bad.
Yeah, like that's why I always used to think those Patriots fans are so cunty, because they became so jaded with just being in the Super Bowl, you know,
Oh,
and they'd
it's
be like,
such
I don't know, I'm
bullshit,
good.
bro.
I'm
I don't
chilling.
even know what that. I don't know what that feels like. I
That's
just
bad.
want everyone out there to sink that in. All you
You know, this
Patriots.
horchata's growing on me.
I don't know. It's good, bro. Horchata's
right.
good.
I should listen to you more. Honestly, you're a wise man.
Horchata's good. I am.
You're a wise man.
I try. Yeah, wise as long as I'm not looking for something that's directly in front of me. Then
that's the
all
hallmark of
bets
a
are out
wise
the
man.
window.
That's a hallmark of a wise man. You're a little bit of a mess in real life because you're a thinker. You know, you're an intellectual. You're sitting around thinking about higher things than what's going on in front of you. You should have an assistant if the world was fair, if I'm being honest.
Oh my god, bro. My life would be so much fucking easier if I had a fucking assistant. Oh my
like
god.
Everybody's got an assistant in LA because it's like a job to, like, you know, get more jobs. And I'm just like, you guys are such fucking losers. I do want to talk about the Patriots for a second. You think that
that's
their
where
season
this started. That's right.
You think that their season might be still alive?
Oh my god. It might be.
So
listen, if that's so let me, before you lay out your case, let me Mac Jones. That's where it relies on, man. And that's a drive that we saw against that Bills. That's a drive you can build off of.
That was a big boy drive.
Is. It was a big boy drive, man. And even the throw,
if you asked
even
me
the
and
throw
you right
to
before that
Gesicki,
happened, no way we're fucking ever expecting
0%, bro.
We were like, that game's over. They're done.
It was over. He was throwing a pick. I was 100% sure.
Do you have any idea how much money I lost on that parlay? That's the game I lost.
I also lost on that game.
That game, though, dude. Actually, you know what? I take that back. I had the 49ers in that parlay too, which I thought was a lock. But I would have lost.
It was over, but it was over before. Yeah, but like he killed it before it because he drove down the field. Listen, so the Ramondre screen obviously opened up the fucking floodgates, right? But even still, it was like, you know, you've seen that exact script before where Matt gets inside the 20, and we saw it against the Dolphins a few times. We've seen it, bro, where he gets inside the 20 and he fucks it up.
I stopped looking at the screen until they were basically in the red zone. I was like, holy shit, wait, they're there?
Yeah,
like, that's crazy.
That throw to Gesicki, bro. It was a big boy throw.
Drive, dude. It was a good drive.
It was a hell of a throw. And yeah, I give him all the credit in the world for that. And as much as it makes me discount the Bills because, you know, obviously this is a big drop for them. I think they were like 2 weeks ago, and now they're all the way down to 10.
Yeah.
But like,
it's a good transition. Oh, I do want to talk about the Pats for a few more minutes because
Mac makes me believe that made me believe a little bit more because we've been waiting for a moment, man.
He has no tools. He has no tools to do this.
Right, but but even still, it's like, well, it's the same conversation with Herbert. It's the same. Eventually, bro, you got to be a quarterback and win the fucking game.
Yep.
You have to win the fucking game, and he did. So, like, let's see what happens. Because
we've talked about that exact theme with Fields the entire time he's been in the Bears. Where I'm like, just let's see if he's the guy or not. Like, just leave it on his shoulders. Be it. You know what I mean? Like, he needs to be the dude to either win or lose these games. Because then we need to find this out eventually. If he's the guy or not, we need to find this out eventually. So, like, let's see. They play the Dolphins next week, and I think, like, I don't think they're going to beat the Dolphins. Like, I think the Dolphins are going to beat them. I think the Dolphins are probably going to beat them pretty bad, if I'm being honest. Bounce back game, et cetera, et cetera. I think we'll get into our conversation about the Dolphins and what's wrong with them because I think I have it figured out. It might be a little bit of an obtuse take, but I'll let you tell me and be honest with me. But say they beat the Dolphins. Divisional game, little parity there, you know, doesn't matter who's doing a divisional game. All those cliches. They rattle off a run after that. I shit you not. Of 3 games. The Commanders, the Colts, and the Giants. Those are their 3 games then after the Dolphins game, right? So say they win that Dolphins game, right? Dolphins, Commanders, Colts, Giants. You think they could make that 4-game winning streak happen? The Dolphins is the big question mark.
Yeah, I think even if they keep it close against the Dolphins, right? This AFC is such garbage, man. It really is. Like, you have a few teams at the top. I mean, the Bills are questionable at this point, but you have a few teams at the top. And then it's just a crapshoot after that. So, like, I mean, let them keep it close against the Dolphins and then see what happens after that. And
But that would put them at
No.
6-5, dude. Like they're above 500 if they
But like
off 4 wins.
even if they lose, so let's say they lose to the Dolphins, right? And then they win the rest of those games, then they're what, 4-6?
5-6.
5-6.
Yeah.
They're still right in the fucking thick of things.
Yeah,
in that AFC.
There's gonna be an AFC wildcard team that wins 8 games.
8 and 9. I
Eight
agree.
or 9, an 8 or 9 AFC wildcard team. I don't think it's gonna be the Pats, but like they could think it's gonna be the Pats.
They're not out of it. Yeah, you're right. They were a cross off 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
After beating the Bills. They're definitely,
it's a big win, dude. It's a big win.
Big win. It's a big win.
Got to talk about that, and we're going to talk about the Bills. Obviously, we're going to talk about how
it's a big.
In fact, let's fucking talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't fucking trust Josh Allen. I haven't trusted Josh Allen
in any way.
I think he's good, but I'm talking about like if the scale is terrible, awful, Zach Wilson, like don't ever look at him play football. It's you might go blind. All the way to
not anymore.
Well, yeah, I know, right? Well, his defense is really leading from the front there, but that's a different conversation. I thought I might have seen the Jets on this, to be honest, on this list.
It was close.
To all the way to Tom Brady, average, right down the fucking middle, like just right middle of the road. I think that Josh Allen is above average.
Can I give you of who Josh Allen has been really reminding me of, and it's very par for the course for the last few weeks of this podcast? Tony Romo.
Interesting.
Josh Allen reminds me a lot.
In what way is it like the kind of like the mistakes balls are so
yes
so ridiculous because he's such a bipolar guy. Like it's like he makes a crazy good play, and I can see it.
He's
trick or treat.
I know this is kind of crazy to say. Like I know Josh Allen has like
I know what I mean physically at all. I know what you mean.
Right, that like everyone's been like, oh, Josh, bro. When you watch him play the game, he is Tony Romo at heart, man. Okay, so in fact,
let's rewind for a second because to your point. Everyone in America had Tony Romo's dick in their mouth for his first 25 years.
Right. That's
every single fucking person.
I just want to rewind to a game that everyone loved Tony Romo for.
Yeah.
This Denver Broncos Dallas Cowboys game from back in the day where it was like, remember, it was like 50-40. Tony Romo was making the most amazing plays. Mm-hmm. My buddy texted me, and I feel like you could do this with Josh Allen too, where it's like he texted me because we're Cowboys fans, obviously. He texted me, he's like, bro, I feel like this is the prime spot for a Tony Romo interception. And it's like he had been playing the best game of his life.
Right.
But still he texted me. It was like, this is the spot where Romo throws a pick right here. And he fucking did. And they lost the game because of it. And it was so predictable.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the point where we're at with Josh Allen, where
I think you've been saying this about Josh Allen, not directly to Tony Romo, but you've been saying that about Josh Allen for 2 years.
For right to
the red zone stuff and like
it's just like
he's a lot of fun to watch play football at times. Like
he's amazing to watch, bro.
His athletic ability.
Again, to relate it right back to Romo was fucking amazing.
He was a lot of
fun
to watch. He was a lot of fun
until he fucked up.
He wasn't. Yeah.
Right. And that's exactly where you're at.
And it wasn't the same thing. It wasn't the same as like when Favre would hit high heights and he would like try to force situations and that would result in mistakes, especially towards the end of his career. It's like it was like a different mental approach to the game. Like Favre would be like, I can make that fucking throw. But like Romo was like Icarus, like he
it's
would
like a fuck it.
It's like it was like he would like be just fly a little too close to the sun.
Yeah.
Because Tony Romo would be like, I'm Tony Romo, I'm Tony Romo, I'm Tony Romo, and then he'd be like, I'm John Elway, and it's like, no, you're not.
Bro, you're not.
Like,
right.
No, you're not.
Right.
Like
100%.
You're not. Like when you were being Tony Romo, everything was going great. But when you started to pretend you were Joe Montana, everything went to fucking shit.
Everything went to shit, bro.
And it's like
exactly.
I can see that with Josh Allen. I can see shades of that with Dak Prescott too, by the way. But
Dak's different. We'll get there, but Dak's different.
But I would almost say that like when he we'll wait. But
it's just like you have moments.
Really, really good analogy, honestly.
Because
obviously, I know every idiot on the internet is going to be like,
Oh my
Tony
God,
Romo's like half the size, and he
yeah,
doesn't even
I
have
get
as
it.
close
I
to his
get it.
physical
Listen,
intangibles. That's not what we're saying.
I totally understand, but it's like when you watch the game, man, there's just moments like it was like this with Romo, where it was like we'd have games where we're winning the fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind if this is the Tony Romo we get, we're winning.
Were we in college together when Romo was the QB?
Yeah.
Because I can either like piece together by knowing you and your takes as well as I do, like the AI version of you in my brain is like I can hear you saying it, or I think I might actually be able to remember hearing you say it in person, like watching Cowboys games at your apartment,
bro.
Yeah,
That's what I mean, man.
Yeah,
It's so. I can't believe no one's made this comparison yet, and I give it 3 weeks before people start fucking doing it because that's usually what fucking happens here. But like, it just like it stuck out to me this weekend, and it just like clicked, and I was like, oh my God, fucking Josh Allen is Tony Romo, bro, because this is a game. The game the Bills lost this weekend to the fucking Patriots is a game Tony Romo would have lost to the fucking Giants. You know what I mean? Or to the fucking Redskins or the Commanders now. I know it was Redskins then, but like the Commanders or the fucking Eagles
and
when
it's
they
like
were
it
shitty.
is
was
him,
just like
it is him.
and then like couldn't
It's
you
always
picture,
on. It's always a mistake he's making.
Yeah, like couldn't you picture? So I remember this specifically. So it was like Bills. So it was Cowboys versus Eagles. So think about like Patriots versus Bills, right? When the Pats had the Bills number, and it was to make the playoffs, and the Cowboys got fucking smoked. It was like 38-6, and Romo had
Yeah.
4 turnovers.
Yeah. Was
And
this
it's
in,
like
wait?
you
Was
could
this like
picture
this
that
was like a
coming from
divisional
Josh
game,
Allen.
right?
Yeah, it was like week 17 back in the day. You remember it? It was they got
I
fucking
remember this
killed,
game. Yeah, I remember this game.
and it was just like, bro, it's like you could see these correlations. So I just felt
That
all
might
my
have been
drink.
because I was just when you were talking just there, I was just thinking about a game I think we watched together at your apartment at Dean with Mike. And I just
Yeah.
I got lost in this tangent of thought where I stopped thinking about Tony Romo for a second and I started thinking about how ridiculously nice those apartments were.
The condos, bro. Those
Yeah, the
shits were
condos.
so good.
Why
We
were they
trashed
so
them,
nice?
We fucking trashed.
Yeah,
that
yours
shit,
was
you know?
trashed by the end for sure.
But it got to the point where we would spill a drink and clean it up, and then that portion of the floor would shimmer to the rest of the floor. It was like we didn't even spill cleaner or water. We'd spill beer and clean up the beer.
You
and our
remember like
floor
the
would
first
be
you remember
white.
like the first time you moved in with a girl and you were like you got taught like 60 different things about keeping your
Oh
house
my
clean that you
God,
didn't
bro.
know. You're just like, wait, what is that? They're like all-purpose cleaner, and you're like, all-purpose in one bottle?
I just wipe it. I just
wipe and it's cleaned up.
Speaking of which, I spilled my entire drink in that impassioned plea of Josh Allen and Tony Romo, and there's
You
just
poured one out for
hard,
the homie, Tony Romo.
there's just hard seltzer on the ground everywhere right now. I don't have a towel though. It's gonna get real sticky. I'm gonna get in trouble.
It's okay. If you need to clean it up, I can just cut this part out.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's a long walk to go get a paper towel right
All
now.
right,
So
whatever. If you're cool with it, I'm cool with it. Don't you need another drink though? No, you got the bottle with you.
Yeah, I do have the bottle.
Yeah, I mean that was a really good impassioned speech, Bobby. I was poured it out for the homies at the end. I forgot how
you understand, right?
Talking about Tony Romo. I do. I was having flashbacks just there to watching you watch Tony Romo games. You really transported me to a place where with your wounds, you know, with your battle scars of watching the San Francisco 49ers. So essentially it was like a plea to Bills fans. It was like, guys, you did it. Like, you know, I'm here with you. I understand what you're going through. But it was also sort of breaking them the news that I don't think they're gonna watch Tony Romo like lift that Lombardi, bro. I just don't think it's gonna go down like that for him.
I don't think so. Yeah, I agree.
But who knows? Who knows? Like you said, the NFL never fails to teach us how we suck at fucking football. So
every fucking week
we suck at knowing about football. The Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah, I mean, obviously writing them off early was always going to be stupid, so we hedged our bets with them. I think what we were saying
by week this week, so
yeah, we're just gonna re-hedge. I think what we were saying last week was like T. Higgins has been hurt, so maybe when he comes back to some sort of health, you know, they have that second or third option that they haven't really had since he's been kind of dealing with his rib injury. They always start slow. They're the notorious slow starters.
Every year, man. Every year.
they always seem to pull it around. I think Burrow was a little knocked up, and I think this bye week's really going to help him. So I think them coming back next week and playing remind me, internet. Next week they're playing they're playing the 49ers. That's an interesting
this
game.
next week they're playing the 49ers.
Yeah, they're playing the late afternoon game against the 49ers. But
wow.
I guess I really hate to say this, and I think I actually am going to utter this out loud. We're going to learn a lot. We're gonna learn a lot this Sunday when the 49ers play the Bengals, and Joe Burrow's got this extra week off to heal up that shoulder. Maybe do a little team building.
Imagine if the 49ers lose that fucking game.
They went on a 3-game skid. A 3-game skid.
Oh man,
they're pretty beat up too, man. I don't know. They were the crown.
They might lose that fucking game. Bro, they might lose that.
Bengals could easily win that game. What's the odds on that?
I was literally just gonna say that.
That's actually could be a pretty juicy,
I guarantee the 49ers. I bet you. Wait, let me guess.
All right, guess the lines.
I got it here. We're not stealing this from anyone.
No, but guess the lines
whatsoever. I'm gonna guess. Who's home?
49ers.
It's at 49ers.
Yeah.
-6.
No. 3.5.
It's 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. 2 weeks ago, that's -6, right? Well, a week ago, that's -6.
I think I'm taking the Bengals all day on that.
I'm all day. What?
So money line's plus 150. That's a little
+1. I was just gonna ask.
That's not that good.
Yeah, I would hope.
But the 3.5, the 3.5 -120, not bad. The 3.5, I'd take Cincinnati.
I'll take the 3.5. Man.
Shade me 3.5 points. I'll take that.
2 weeks ago,
6 would have been
right?
like I would have thrown money at 6 points.
Six is
that's high,
but it's at least 6 2 weeks ago. That's how far the 49ers have fallen.
But those 2 bounces are bad though. But actually,
they're bad.
That actually, you know what? Now that you said that, this is a fucking trap. This game's a trap. This is a no bet.
It's a trap game. It's a no bet.
This is a no bet. You're absolutely right. Like they're not going to lose 3 games in a row. No, it's just be smart. Don't get gamble greedy. They're not going to lose 3 games in a row. They're good. They're a good football team. Name me a reason why they would. Like they were banged up. The 49ers are going to
Bengals on rest, bro. I don't know.
I know you're right. They are on rest. It is good.
Bengals on rest, man.
Like think about it. I'm going to mull it over. I'll think about it before I fall asleep tonight. And I'll see what my instincts are. Maybe I'll get back up. And I'll lay some money because it's not going to change. I mean, what is it, Wednesday?
If anything, it goes up, right? If I were to guess at that line, if anything, that goes up. What if you took 4.5 by the weekend?
What if you took the 3.5 point spread and parlayed it with the Chiefs 7 point spread that they got against the Broncos? You think that's too high?
No, I don't hate it. That would probably end up to what, like +3?
Yeah, it's like
+3 to 1.
It's -100. Yeah, so it's like 3 to 1. You get 3 to 1 odds on that.
I don't hate it.
Or you could get really crazy because the fucking Bears have an 8.5 against the Chargers, and the Chicago Bears and the great hope of the Division II, the second division in college football.
What, T-Bag? You talking about T-Bag, bro?
Good old TB. Good old TB. The undrafted TB that plays the Chicago Bears. Could he do it? They're in town. I should get tickets.
You should, bro.
They're playing the Chargers.
There's gonna be lots of Bears fans, so you'll
no
be
shit,
able
dude.
to...
Every fucking time a team plays LA in the NFL, they're like they become a home team. There's no real fucking fans in back.
Yeah, you'll be able to really get some Bears camaraderie going, man. Maybe you'll find some Bears LA friends.
I know a few Bears LA people.
You got some LA friends?
There's a Bears bar. There's a Bears like bar down the street for me I go to sometimes, but it gets
in New York it's tough to find Cowboys fans. I find them every once in a while. My fiance gets mad at me because she's like, "Fuck you! Why are you talking to this Cowboys fan in the store?" And I'm like, "What do you mean, bro?
Come on, it's a camaraderie."
Yeah, come on.
So the Browns. What's going on with Deshaun Watson? Because I feel like if he comes back, but it's like, is it his shoulder or is it his personality?
I think it's his personality.
Is it because they're saying his shoulder's not 100%?
This doesn't seem like a My headphones might die, by the way. So if they do, I have to switch over.
That's
And
okay.
it'd be fine. Okay.
We'll have a funeral.
Yeah, it'd be fine. Bro, I just with Watson, it just seems like it's like they don't want him to play at this point. You know what I mean? Like it's so weird what's going on there where
But
it's
don't
like
you
every
think
week he's
don't you think
scratched at the last second and it's like a
yeah.
shoulder injury and like
But
he's
don't you think like a
concussed
fully
now.
healthy, like actually getting into the swing of things, Deshaun Watson gives them a chance of being a playoff team at this point?
100%. But
You
yeah.
know? So I don't know. I mean, I know they've had some good wins. They're playing the Seahawks. The Seahawks I like a lot. I really
do too.
I
They
honestly
should be
like
on
them.
here probably.
I
They
think
probably
they
should be on
I
here.
think they should, to be honest. I think that they're pretty legit. They're kind of just going out and getting the job done every week. You know, they're
Yeah,
not being really loud about
they're
it or
not flashy.
about it,
100%.
but they're going
Yeah.
out and they're getting the job done every week, and they're sort of forming in my brain as like a pretty solid football team. I think they're going to beat the Browns on Sunday, to be honest with you, and I think that they're going to replace the Browns in these power rankings after this Sunday.
I wouldn't be surprised by that. Yeah, for sure. I think they're they're very comparable teams. I think the Browns have a much better defense and much more playmakers on the defense.
I also think that it's Seattle's a little bit less dysfunctional as like just an entire
I was just but like yeah, as a whole,
yeah,
I think it all evens out in the end because like Seattle may not have the playmakers, but they have the system and they have the culture that Cleveland doesn't.
I agree.
Yeah.
Cleveland's just nothing but like, strip malls and pain. The Jaguars beating the Saints. Do you put a ton of stock in that? Like, do you think the Saints are good? Because they kind of seem to keep losing to people.
The Saints are weird, man. They just can't score. I think Derek Carr is very overrated.
He sucks.
Very overrated.
I don't even think he's overrated. I think he sucks.
Yeah, it's at this point where it's like
he's like yelling at his O-line and shit. I'm like, dude,
you might as well just see what you got there because I don't think Derek Carr is ever going to be the answer, man.
I knew it was inflated when they 34-0'd the Patriots. I was like, that's not the kind of team they are. They're not good like that. I promise you, they're not good like that. And they were dicks about it. And then the Texans spanked them, and then the Jags beat them. And then they're going to play the Colts and then the Bears. Like, imagine the Saints could be in 3 weeks. The Saints we could be talking about as one of the worst teams in the NFL. To be honest, because if they lose to the Colts and the Bears, like, fucking see you later.
And they could lose to the Colts because the Colts are very surprising. Minshew is a lot better than people give him credit for. I think
the Colts are not as bad as we thought they were going to be. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think Gardner Minshew could be starting in 75%, maybe not 75, 50% of the teams in the league. Gardner Minshew could probably be their starting quarterback.
That's more of a damning indictment on the arm talent on the rest of the league.
100%. 100%.
Gardner Minshew. The funny thing is, Gardner Minshew would have been the Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback in 2005, and he would have been the worst QB in the fucking league.
Yeah, so
it's the same thing we keep talking about. He would have been in Jacksonville. He would have perfectly fit Jacksonville in 2005, and he would have been so much worse than all the other QBs. Is that thing we're talking about? QBs just aren't as good anymore.
It's not even close. Yeah, I mean,
but if it is the Jags, and the Jags are kind of, I thought that they looked really good in that win. By the way, I was not 100% convinced by them, but I thought they executed really, really well. I think that you were higher on their offensive players, like their skill players, than I was last week. But so I took another look at it because you were like, I don't know, man, like Etienne's good, like you were kind of going through it. And
they have
like,
a very high ceiling.
Like
they have a very high ceiling.
So when you said that, I took another look at it because it also it's still the Jags, so maybe I
get it. Yeah, no, I get it.
Bit of a, do I really have to look at the Jacksonville Jaguars twice? But they're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers next. So I expect if you're fucking high on these cunts, if the Steelers beat the Jags, they need to make these power rankings. Right? I would imagine.
I'm with you. If the Steelers beat the Jags, they'll be here. I'm with you.
It's going to be a tough watch. All right.
But so the way with the Jags, why I rank them where they are is just because of their ceiling. It really is, man.
Yeah.
Is like they're bad
fun.
Games.
They're fun and young, and they have a lot. Like they could go one of two ways.
But like if they play their best game, they're the only team in the AFC. Maybe the Bills, but like the only team I'm confident if they play their best game, they can beat the fucking Chiefs. And I don't see any doubt because they played their worst game against the Chiefs.
What about Joe Burrow being Patrick Mahomes?
The answer?
Most of the time?
Yeah, no, you're right. Okay, the Bengals too.
To me, if the Bengals
don't have any confidence in the Bills beating the fucking Chiefs. So zero confidence in the Bills.
But if the Bengals go in the trajectory that they always seem to go every year, They're on a collision course with the Chiefs in the
Can
AFC
they do
Championship.
it without Mixon being Mixon though? I don't
What
know
is
if
up with him?
Mixon is still
You
Mixon,
have
man.
him,
I
right?
don't know.
You have him on your
Yeah, I
Facebook.
do. He's not the same fucking guy. I've been watching him every fucking week, and there's runs that he used to make 8, 9, 10 yards that is just like a -2,
You think he just lost
-3,
his
and
step?
it's just he's not the guy anymore. I don't know,
Interesting.
man. I think they got to find
Also,
someone
T.
else
Higgins
out
being
there.
hurt.
I do.
How's
Yeah,
that?
that's big. It is big.
It's
Because
bigger than you
Boyd's
think
not
because like
Higgins. Boyd
no,
is
he's
not
not.
Higgins.
Higgins can make like huge momentum plays for you, and if he's not there, that's tough.
Well, it's like, when you have a guy like Jamar Chase, man, you can put
Right.
2 guys on him all
Right.
fucking day.
Right.
And if T. Higgins isn't making you pay for putting 2 guys on fucking Jamar Chase, then what, you know what I mean?
Yeah, what's he doing?
It's a whole different
exactly.
ballgame.
It's
Right?
like if he's not better than the third cornerback on the opposite team, I think
What are we
maybe
doing
like
here?
I think maybe if they're playing the Niners, there's a chance he's not better than the third cornerback on the Niners. What's his name? Who's his face?
Hasty or who is
Hasty, hey, whatever his name,
Hasty.
whatever. They have a really good secondary, but kind of underrated. Do you think that the Detroit Lions are frauds? Are they the good bad team? Are they the bad good team? That's actually the question. Are they the bad good team this year? They're a good team, but really they're kind of not that good. They're the 15-1 Atlanta Falcons. Are they gonna? But really, they have a soft underbelly. Because I told you were too high on that fucking defense, and I think that's what kind of fucked their game up. They couldn't get any rhythm
100%.
going because their defense was just getting shit on by Lamar Jackson. They
Yeah.
basically put out a defense that Lamar Jackson was like, oh, this is my favorite kind of defense to play against.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just gonna Lamar Jackson all over everybody. You're just gonna sit in the zone.
Yeah, soft zone.
You're just gonna sit in the fucking zone. No problem.
Yep.
I'll just fucking dump. I'll just dink and dump all over you all day.
And then when you do have and it's like when you do have your zones covered, I'm still fucking Lamar Jackson, bro.
I'll just
so
run.
I'm gonna run all fucking day long. Yeah, bro, all day long.
That was a ton of fun to watch, actually, and I understand because we've kind of had this. We've taken opposite stalls on the Ravens, and I'm leaning towards. I think you might be right. I think you had me on the Ravens because I was like, I think I still see a lot of the problems that they had defensively. I still see them able to cough up games in big situations, and I didn't think that the skill players that they added from the market were as good as you were saying, like the Aguilars of the world. But with Mark Andrews and Zay Flowers as weapons, those two guys specifically, because Flowers is good. He's little, but like that seems to work for Lamar for whatever reason, because it's just speed. He just needs your speed. Like they're becoming that same kind of dynamic, high-paced offense, but they have this other thing, this other very singular Lamar Jackson thing. And they're 5-2, and they're top of the winningest division of football right now. So you can't take anything away from the Ravens. I need to see another game from the Lions, I think, to figure out what, the who we thought they were moment. What do you think? Is there anything definitive about that happening that like, were you like, holy shit, maybe the Lions aren't as good? Or is it like, I don't know, the Ravens had a hell of a day and you didn't play them right?
I don't really know because, I rewatched it and I couldn't, I got home so I was out like picking pumpkins with my family.
I know you told me that it was so idyllic. I was like, that sounds lovely. It's like a nice fall day on the East Coast. I'm over here in 95 degrees heat still.
I had red zone like on the picnic table still, and was getting yelled at for it. But like
red zone's
but like I was so shocked. I was shocked to see what that score was when I came home, and I don't know, man. I do think so. Like, I think my belief in the Ravens is real, where it's like if you give the Ravens the right situation and you play to them, I think they're really hard to beat.
That's
and
really good.
I just, if you play to this team and you let Lamar get going, and they'll absolutely destroy you, right? And I think a guy who has such a big part of that is a dude who came from your team, Roquan Smith, man. He's the leader of that defense. He is the guy that makes that defense go. If you see Roquan Smith stopping dudes for -4, -3, -5 yards in that first quarter, look out for that defense. If you don't and you see big plays happening, that's when you're going to get in trouble. You see Hamilton getting beat deep, or you see whatever's going on. That's when they're in trouble. But like when Smith is stuffing that run, because that's what he is. He's a run game fucking killer, Roquan Smith. An absolute
I
killer
know.
for
I
them.
watched him play for a long time. He's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. And
Yeah.
like when he's going,
he hits the late hole faster than anybody. Like
it's
like he's just there.
It's wild. Yeah,
I told you he was going to be a huge addition to that team. I like last
he's
year.
so good, man. He
sick.
really is. And when he's on his game, that team is different. It really is.
The thing is, he needed to go to a contender with where his contract was going.
He's a head case. I think he's a head case. I'm with you.
Oh, I love him. I loved him. He was awesome. Because we actually topped run defense charts a couple years in a row when we were still bad. When we had Trubisky, we were like top 4 run defense because of guys like him.
Because of Roquan, man. Yeah,
I can't believe you don't. Did you just forget to put the Dolphins on this list?
Oh, Dolphins are on this list?
It's nowhere to be found on this list.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I forgot the fucking Dolphins.
That's all right. It's all right. We can just still talk about it. We can still talk about it.
Yeah, the Dolphins probably belong like
right around here. Right around here.
Right around here.
Right around here. That's all right.
How do
yeah, give the listeners an insight into how you do the power rankings. Well, I take one team off.
I forgot the Dolphins. Smoke weed every day.
Smoke weed every day. The Dolphins, but I do want to make a point about them.
Let's
finish these fuckers.
No. So this involves a good discussion. Who comes off? So you're right. The Dolphins 100% need to be on this list. The Browns come off, right?
Yeah.
After that Colts game,
I think the Browns come off, and everybody comes down one, so that the Dolphins are 5th.
So then Jags are 8, Lions are 7, Cowboys are 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I would probably say.
And where do the Dolphins fit in though? Above the Cowboys, right?
I think they're probably 1 and 1A, so they're probably both 5. It's like tied at 5. So whichever one you want to talk about first. Just let me know which one you want to talk about. The Cowboys had a bye week.
Let's talk about the Cowboys first. I mean, the Cowboys are on a bye week, so there honestly isn't.
Well, I wanted to ask you though, because it is your team. So the nice thing about having a fan of a team on a bye week on a podcast is I know you were still thinking about them. It's like they're still on your mind. So a week off, and you can essentially, I think it's a nice week when you have a bye week. Not good for fantasy owners, but when you have a bye week on Bye-Mageddon as a football team, I think it's a really nice bye week because I think it's a really good take stock week. When your bye week is week 8, you have the ability to look back on the first, I guess if you look at it in quarters or thirds, say the first third of your season, the first chunk. Yeah, honestly, that is what it is. The first chunk of the season's over. Congratulations, everybody. We're one chunk in. We're one chunk down, like maybe 2 chunks to go, plus the postseason chunk. I think you're absolutely right. That it's like a murder of crows. That's like what it is. First part of the NFL season is absolutely from here on out ordained as a chunk. So. But I did want to ask you because I was just talking sports with my buddy who's from Mass. He's a Patriots fan. He was over watching the C's, and we were chatting about football in general. And the Cowboys came up, and he was like, "I've honestly liked the Cowboys since the Tony Romo era," and I was like, "Kind of me too." I feel like a lot of people carried in a lot of like old hatreds with them that I just didn't have anything to do with. And I've always enjoyed watching them play. And I think I've been high on them. I also remember when we first started the podcast, the fucking litany of shit that the Patriots fans in our group would attack you with about the Cowboys. And they would leave me completely alone about the Bears. Like it was such a fuck. I was like, you guys need to yell at me more.
It's not fair, man.
Now everybody is not equally shitty. So that's nice. But I guess my question to you is,
I'm the best. No, I'm the best.
You're the best team.
It's fucking
you absolutely have the best team. You're absolutely right. It's not even a debate. But I guess my question is, the first chunk has happened. Obviously, there's that bad L to the 49ers, and there's a bad L to the Cardinals in there. But you went out there and you beat the brakes off the Patriots, right? You beat the brakes off you beat the Chargers, right? And you're coming back from this bye week playing a very beatable LA Rams team. I think they're better than we thought they were going to be. But I think they're very, very beatable. You got to be careful with McVay. He's very tricky, but you're in Dallas. It wouldn't matter either way, actually. You could play the fucking LA Rams in LA or in Dallas.
Either way, it doesn't matter.
That's so embarrassing, LA. Like, you're so embarrassing.
It's so
that's the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen on TV. The Pittsburgh Steelers fans.
Both teams. That's what it's not just one. It's
Did you see
Both
this?
the
Did you
Rams
see the
and the
Steelers
Chargers.
game? Did you
It's
see the Steelers
brutal.
game?
Brutal.
That was
So many
1,000% a home game.
So
for
many
the Steelers.
towels.
They travel great, those motherfuckers. I gotta give them credit.
So do Cowboys fans, though. So do
They
Cowboys
do.
fans.
They absolutely do. The Cowboys fans are like a virus. They fucking pop up
Yeah.
everywhere.
They really do.
They do. America's team. It's America's
It's
team.
so perfect. We're a fucking virus. We really are.
We're coming back. We're coming back here to a very, very winnable Rams game, and a Rams game you got to win, to be honest. So I guess after the first chunk, it's take me an hour to ask this question, but where do you stand with the Cowboys now that the dust is settled?
You want me to say it? You want me to say these words? We're gonna learn a lot after this week.
We are though.
We really are though, and like if this Cowboys team's just a bet against this Rams team, then I think we know who they are. You know what I mean? If they lose this game, I have a very defined definition of who this Cowboys team is. If they lose this game, if they win this game definitively, also a very defined definition of who I think this team is. I think this week really will show us a lot. Coming off the bye week, seeing who McCarthy really is when it comes to.
I hope you don't have one eye on the Eagles.
I'm not worried about them at all. I'm not worried about them at all because I don't think they might be. All right, the Cowboys might be.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
I'm
not
worried that they have
because
one
like
eye on the Eagles.
I just listen. The Eagles are not a team that like you should even think about catching. You shouldn't even be in that mindset at all right now. What you should be worried about is blowing this fucking team out and showing the rest of the league that you are one of these contenders. If you're looking forward to the Eagles, then it is the same shit that we've been talking about year after year after year, and the same coaching mistakes we've been talking about every fucking year. Win this fucking game after this bye week, after one of the least convincing wins I've seen from a good football team in a long time.
I think the Chargers are better than you think the Chargers are, though. So I do think I think the Chargers are better than you do, though, because like
that was such.
I think their coach
game.
is terrible. Their coach is absolutely terrible, and I think they're a talented football.
That's where I'm at, though.
With a bad coach.
But that's where I'm at. Was like, are we that? Is that what we are? Because if we're a great team or a good team with a shitty coach, then I don't see us getting to the point that I want to go to. You know what I mean? So it's like if we
the coach isn't as bad as the Chargers coach that we learned.
He's definitely not as bad as Staley, 100%. But can he compete with the best of the rest of the league? And if you can't compete and you can't beat a team that is significantly less talented than you because they have a better coach, then I don't see any reason why I should expect to beat a Kyle Shanahan or why I should expect to beat an Andy Reid or why I should expect to beat these great coaches if after 2 fucking weeks off, you can't come out and dominate a team that you are so much better than. I don't see any reason why I should expect anything better than another divisional loss or another, you know what I mean? It's just like, if you don't show me a reason to believe differently, I'm not going to believe differently. I'm sorry. I'm not. Yeah, I've seen the script, bro. I've seen this. I've seen this shit every year.
I do think that there's something to be said for the perspective on these next few games for the Cowboys, where if you just zoom out a little bit, you can actually see that this Rams game is as important as you're saying, but these next 2 games, I believe, define your season. Because I agree with everything you're saying about how you need to beat the Rams for all those reasons. You have to be able to come off a rest and beat the fucking Rams. You have to be able to do that. You're not contenders.
You're just better, but you're just better than them, right?
Yeah, you have to go be better than them, and you have to show everybody that you're better than them. But then you play the Eagles the following Sunday. And the reason why I think I understand where you're coming from with the like, you shouldn't be looking at the Eagles. The Eagles are not like your concern right now. You just go beat the Rams. I get that. I'm with you. But the reason why I want to look at the Eagles is because you play the Eagles and then you play the Giants, the Panthers, and the Commanders in succession.
Those are all wins. Yeah, those are all wins. And they should be.
But if you rattle off, this is why I'm saying these next 2 games, the Rams and the
get
Eagles
one of them. Get one.
No, dude. If you win both of those, you are going to rattle off a 5-game winning streak. You're going to be if you win both of those games, which you absolutely could, you're going to rattle off a 5-game winning streak for sure. If you just beat the Rams and lose to the Eagles, I'm worried that there's a skid with the Giants, the Panthers, or the Commanders. But I know this Cowboys team is so momentum based, and they're so about like that's why that
They're
Chargers
very
game looked the
emotional.
way
They're
it did.
very
That's why that
emotional.
Chargers game looked the way it did. To me, that looked like a team that was better than the Chargers, better coached than the Chargers, more talented than the Chargers, not playing their best game, coming off a rattling defeat to the 49ers. But they got the W. And that's what I kept saying to you. I was like, they got the W. Then they get a bye week. Perfect. Just we go into the bye week with a dub. That was so important. Your season is on a tightrope right now. It is on an absolute tightrope because of the kind of team this is and the context of the next couple of games. Of course, you have to get the Rams, but bigger picture, I really believe if you beat the Eagles, you can rattle off a serious win streak before they have their revenge game in early December. Because you go Rams, Eagles, Giants, Panthers, Commanders, Seahawks, which is another a team you should beat.
It's a big game.
It's a team you should beat, but it's a good scalp. If you beat them, depending if they're in thereabouts where they are now, and they're still going to get the job done. If you're able to have the Seahawks come to Dallas and you send them home with an L, that's a good scalp.
Agreed.
There's everything is hinging on what your record looks like going into the last few games because you literally go Eagles, and I'm talking December 10th onwards. You go Eagles, Bills, Dolphins, Lions, and then the last game.
I know my buddy said me that. It was like that's tough. Man.
You have to go into that 4-game run. I don't think
10 and 4.
I don't think you should lose any games until that 4-game run. That would be my recommendation.
Yeah.
But then there's a chance
tough,
there's a chance you go into the fucking playoffs so battle tested if you win some of these fucking games. Like there's context and talent looking down the fucking barrel of the Cowboys season. That if you overcome these obstacles, you're so battle tested coming in.
We're ready. Okay.
Because what's the big mountain? The fucking 49ers.
The 49ers
who played you guys
bro.
And then went on a 2-game skid. And I have to think that playing the Cowboys might have had something to do with that. I think they blew their fucking load playing the Cowboys because they knew it was the biggest game of their season so far.
A stat my buddy sent me the past 3 weeks actually. Is teams that have played the Cowboys are 0-6 or 0-7 now against the spread the following week. So not one team has covered the week after we play the Cowboys.
Beat them up. Yeah. That's actually a really good line, and I might start to follow that line.
I sent him that. It's literally
that's
my
a good
response.
Little
was like, I think it's
there.
time to start making some fucking money off of that.
Yeah. I'm with you. But you see what I'm saying, right? If you break those two,
I do.
chunks
I
up,
get it, man. 100%.
These next 2 weeks are so pivotal because you got to go into that easy run with a couple wins under your belt. I could probably still make the case that you going to get that 3-game winning streak is going to like bring your season back around.
But like that's why this fucking week is so fucking important.
Right. This is the springboard.
This is the fucking game. If you lose this game and then you have to go off an L listen, Eagles week has been like my mantra.
You're going to the Eagles first, by the way. You're going to Philadelphia first.
This is the fucking game. You have to win this game. Mm-hmm. You don't just have to win this game. For me to feel comfortable going into next week, I want to dominate this fucking game. I want to win this game by 21 points. Like without a doubt, because like I don't ever want this being in a doubt, and I want to be going into the next week feeling so fucking high that like I'm like, fuck the Eagles, we're gonna fucking take them down. I don't want this bullshit of like, is this the same Cowboys? And like my mindset like has to be their mindset. Like I'm sorry, like I know they're professional athletes and I know it's all like they're on a different level than I am. I get it. But like I know that like it just would do such wonders and such different things for this team to go into that Eagles week and have that win under their belt. You could take that burp out, but you know what I'm saying. I tried to hold it down. I couldn't.
No, it happens. We're drinking. Yeah, I think all that's true. Do you think if the Cowboys won a Super Bowl, I could like help? Like I should get like some residual happiness with how high I've been on your Cowboys. Like I've pulled you out of so many slumps, like so many emotional slumps on this podcast. I
If
should
the
get some
Cowboys win
honorary
the
Cowboys
Super Bowl,
party bus, like
yeah,
bandwagon points, because it's really all I have to look forward to. I'd love to talk as a group about the Dolphins and the 49ers for a second, because I think you sort of alluded to this when the Bills beat the Dolphins a few weeks ago. These skill teams, these fast skill teams, the Dolphins especially, seem to have an issue with big physical teams that come out and punch them in the fucking face.
100%.
Is that a big enough Achilles heel for the team? And I can't believe we're talking about the 49ers in this context right now, but is that a big enough Achilles heel for them? Because that seems to me like exactly like what gets you killed in a playoff situation, is when you have that big of a, because you're going to see one of those teams. Like, I'm sorry, but you're going to see one of those teams that can do that to you. And if you haven't figured out how to fight back, because the Dolphins are so fun to watch, Bob, but like they're fully like, they're very like, what's the most PC way to say this? They're
pussies.
They're kind of bitches.
Yeah,
it's like they're a ton of fun to watch.
There's way around that, man.
They're kind of prima donnas. Like they're a lot of fun, but they're like not tough. And when a team comes in and starts to bloody their nose in the trenches, like I could actually see a Tim Tebow led Denver team coming and beating this currently constituted Dolphins.
That's great. Yeah, 100%.
And like Al Michaels says Smash Mouth football 67 times on that broadcast. And Chris Collinsworth says Smash Mouth football 167 times on that broadcast. And you're right, actually. It's criminal that they broke those guys up. Criminal.
It's so criminal. Well, they should be together forever. They shouldn't. They never should.
They should have died in that studio together.
100%. They were so good together.
They should have taken a couple of cyanide pills like Hitler in the bunker.
Bro, Chris Collinsworth loved being with Al too. You could hear it in his voice. He's like, Al, man.
Yeah, but like I think Al liked him back. I think they were like buddies. I think Al liked his infectious energy. I think deep down Al's kind of a curmudgeon. I think like he doesn't fully put that across.
He doesn't eat vegetables, bro.
I love that. I love that.
To eat vegetables,
like, not knowingly, not on purpose. And I'm like, ever? And you're like in your 80s. I'm like, you fucking debunked everything.
His parents hated him growing up. Eat your fucking broccoli. I'm not fucking eating.
Well, he said the reason why his mom was like young, so she like when she had him, she was like 18, so she didn't know to like tell him to eat his vegetables, and he was like, "Fuck that, I'm not doing it then."
I'm not eating it.
I was never related to an 80-year-old man more in that moment when he was answering that question, and then he was 100%. Like, then they keep being like, "You got to talk about Taylor Swift on the Thursday night broadcast," and he was like, "Nah." I'm not doing Access Hollywood.
I'm not. Yeah, he literally said no. It was so good,
bro. He's like when Trebek died.
National treasure. He's a national treasure.
Yeah, he's a national treasure. When Trebek died, he became like the last stand of like what we have in that category of great, just wonderful like TV personalities.
He's the best, man. Al Michaels is a treasure that should be protected at all costs.
But do you think that I have a point about these kind of prima donna teams?
Yes, you do.
These very silky but maybe a little bit soft offenses that we're
so like to everyone out there who's ever been bullied, right? The Dolphins are that team that
this is like the start of an Eminem song.
Yeah, bro.
This one goes out to anyone. Fuck it. Just listen.
You shut up and listen.
Yo.
I sit back on this rap. Back.
It's fucking banger, by the way.
Anyways, it's a great fucking song.
I fucking love that guy.
But yeah, no, 100%. Because like, if you think back to the bullies and like the shit like that, where it's like these people that are just more athletic and like you think they can kick your ass, right? You're like, oh, bro, this guy is so you hit him in the face one fucking time.
Yeah,
and it's over, bro. It's fucking over. And it's the same thing with this team where it's like, if you let them get going, they will murder you all fucking day long. They will hit you with jab after jab after jab after jab.
Are they similar to the Ravens in that way? Are the Ravens in that category?
They're very similar, bro.
Yeah, but the Ravens have been doing this for a little longer, I think.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like, the once the speed gets going, it's hard to stop it. But if you can stop the speed before it gets going, then you're in business, bro. And that's what the Bills have learned. The 4-3 fucking Bills. That's what they've learned. And I feel like that's the recipe to beat this team, and
Yeah.
and it's the only recipe to beat this team, to be honest. Like that's why I don't know if I have faith in the Chiefs to beat them. That's why I don't know how many teams in this league that I have faith in to beat this Dolphins team, because you have to hit them in the mouth. You have to stop them before.
But they're gonna see someone like that before they get to a Chiefs.
100. But that's
Yeah.
what the Eagles did to them, where it's
Yeah.
like they hit them in the mouth. That defensive line, bro, just took over that fucking game. What's his name? The rookie from fucking Georgia just fucking
Jalen Carter.
ended, bro.
So
he just
fucking mad we
ended
didn't get
them.
him because he had
And it's
like character issues. He's so fucking good, dude.
He's so fucking good, man. He's unbelievable.
Like the Bears were supposed to trade down. I think we got a haul for the pick, but if we had to trade down, or if we had to trade down one less spot or something along the, if we had to trade down one less spot, we would have picked him up. But they said he had character issues because remember he got in trouble right before the draft.
Yeah, it was like
All I kept saying to
so
everybody,
good.
but all I kept saying to everybody is I was like, why isn't there somebody in the draft room saying what I'm saying? Because it's still a workplace. It's too political. You come to me and you tell me that my stud defensive tackle that I want to draft in the first 5 picks of the NFL draft has character issues. I'm like, good. I want him to have character issues.
Amazing.
I want him to have fucking character. I want him to be. I want him to be
kill someone.
I'm going to contain that psychopath, and I'm going to direct his energies. Look at Ndamukong Suh. Like, character issues, schmaracter issues. That guy was the best fucking QB rusher in the fucking league for the last 20 years.
We're both on the energy spectrum.
Absolute piece of shit, by the way.
When you have energy, bro, energy is real. You know what I mean? That shit is
burn
real.
That shit off, son.
And if you can harness that into a good fucking energy and take that and outlet it in a certain way, bro, if you
don't do that, it's going to go somewhere bad. In fact, if you don't actively harness it
100%
and put it in a positive direction, like your job or your relationship, and you do those things in your life 1,000% because that's how you are. If you don't do that, I promise you, you're going to do bad things. You're going to go do bad things with your decisions. You have to learn that quality in this life. You have to learn that quality. And then you actually reap success from it.
You reap it, bro. You really do.
From it. And I know we sound like a self-help podcast, but I've almost never related to anything you've said more. Like that's the thing you said to me in the entire 3 years of doing this podcast that I absolutely agree with the hardest. Like if you don't, and you can take that's a kid. In fact, you shouldn't be passing on people for character issues. You should be going, how about we create an environment, right? Where 100%. We bring a 21-year-old child into our situation and we create a great structured fucking environment around him. Like, say what you will about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Something I like a lot about them is their ownership, right? And the people that own that team and the way that they take care of the people that work for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, it's like a fucking mom and pop operation. The Bears are a little like that too, and it actually annoys me. I'm like, I think we should be more ruthless, but I'm not a fan of that team, the Steelers. So it's fine. I like that they're nice, but you bring a guy in like that, character issues, schmaracter issues. You bring him in for his fucking talent. You deal with that shit later. That's just it. Unless Aaron Hernandez, the one exception to the rule.
Well, it's like if and it's beyond that though, where it's like if you can take those character issues and harness it into something different, bro, it can be beyond what you would think your expectations are. If you can take that and harness it into something good, it can be beyond what you even imagine.
How few people are just like actually evil, like actually just bad, actually just like contain like just bad parts. I believe that they exist, but I don't think that there's that many people like that. I think most people are just an amalgamation of like insecurities and traumas
100%.
and their desires and the things
they
that
believe
make them happy.
that like this is who they
and their
are
ego and their character and all that shit. And like if you have a 21-year-old, you're still so malleable. Like you're not a done product yet at 21. I hope not. I sure fucking wasn't. I sure as fuck was not done at 21. I needed a long time in the oven still. But when I was fucking 21, I was a roast turkey on Thanksgiving Day. I needed another 8 hours, So I don't agree with the idea of citing character issues unless Aaron Hernandez style character issues, like I said. But character issues, fuck off, dude. Bring him into your organization and put him in a situation where he can succeed in this life. That's the one good fucking thing the NFL teams do is they actually give people the opportunity to change their fucking lot in life, you know? And like, that's what you should be all about. That's what your team should be all about. Sorry we got so intense there, everybody.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good though.
I want to do something because we already talked about the Ravens, and I think we sort of have them covered. I want to do something that's a throwback to last year, and it turned out to really go in my favor to keep doing this exercise. Number 1 and number 2, respectively, are the Eagles.
Wait, before we do this, can I take a piss
go
real
ahead.
quick?
Yeah, please.
I'm ready.
Mommy.
Bro, I just peed so fucking much.
Nice,
I couldn't believe how much came out.
I love that. You know, you got like your top 5 in your head, where you're like the circumstances where you're like, oh, I remember this one piss I took. It was long and it took forever. I remember me and my cousins still have a conversation when we drive past a certain wall in Dublin where we're like, yo, remember we took the best pisses of our lives on that wall? Like the best pisses we've ever had. Like, because we were both pissing on this wall, drunk as fucking skunks, stumbling back from this pub in Dublin. And every time we passed the wall, and it was like, while the piss was going on, we were both pissing for forever. And I was like, yo,
Your
this is like the
soul
greatest
just
piss
leaves
of
your
my
fucking
life.
body.
The drunk piss is like why I get drunk, I think. It's like why I drink.
Just for that dopamine rush
Just
where
for
you,
that
you unload.
sweet piss. I'm really happy for you, honestly, genuinely,
Thank
from the
you.
bottom of my
Thank
heart.
I appreciate that.
We used to do this exercise last year on the pod, folks, where I would ask for either the top 2 or the top 4 teams, and it was a method to poke holes in Bobby's logic of who the best teams in the NFL are. And I do have to. I've been with you most of the time here, but I have to poke a hole in the idea that the Chiefs are below the Eagles with that fucking rubber duck of a fucking game the Eagles laid against the Jets. And I know that they're still good, and I know that they have the ability to. But the Chiefs look very convincing. So what I would like to do is I would like to just say, if they met right now in the Super Bowl today, who are you putting your money on?
Wow.
Because it's the Chiefs, bro.
It probably is, yeah. It's so funny that we're back here, by the way, where it's the Chiefs and the fucking Eagles at the top of the power rankings once again. And we're having the same exact fucking conversation that we had all last year.
Yep.
But it's like,
I don't think the Eagles are as good as they were last year.
I agree. And
I don't think the Chiefs are either, actually.
They're both not.
But I don't think they're bad enough that anyone else will catch him now.
Okay, hear me out though. Hear me out. Ravens playing their best football. I think they could beat both of them. No,
I'm not like a playoff Lamar denier. Like I'm not someone who says, show me you can do it on the big stage about Lamar Jackson, because you know me well enough to know now that like,
yeah,
I like gamers. Like I like guys that are good at shit. Like
he's obviously one.
When I watch Lamar Jackson, I have like a lot of fun. So I'm not just going to be miserable and have a bad take about it. I get why people think that. Like I know Mike thinks that. I get why he thinks that, because you've never seen the kind of quarterback Lamar Jackson is do it. It's not just him. You've never seen the guy that plays like him at that position do anything meaningful in the postseason ever. Like, not really.
Yep.
So that's the big hurdle to climb. If anyone can do it, I think it is him. I'll put it to you that way. In a one-off game, I really do think we should play like, do you know how in soccer they play like home and away, and like away goals count, and then they do an aggregate
differential score and all that? Yeah.
They should do that for just the championship games, the NFC and the AFC championship games.
2 weeks of championship.
2 weeks instead of that stupid week off.
That'd be so
instead of that dumb week off, they go like it's Philadelphia, Dallas, and like we have 1 week in Philadelphia and 1 week in Dallas, and you either decide on a coin toss, or maybe the team with the better record gets like the first home game or whatever they get to choose, and then it's a no-brainer. It's a fucking, and then you just do aggregate score. So if Dallas beats Philadelphia week 1, right? Game 1, 14-0. And then week 2, Philadelphia wins 21-0. Philadelphia goes on because they scored 21. It's 21-14 on the aggregate score.
So you start the second week 14-0, right?
Yes.
And
but you play 2 games. So it's like you're down 14-0.
So that's electric.
So it affects the fucking strategy. Man. It's the best idea I've ever had in my entire life. I swear to God. I started saying it to my buddy tonight watching the fucking Celtics game, and I was like, this is what they have to do. Because I initially said a best of 3. I initially said a best of 3, and he was like,
imagine how amazing that second week would be.
Unbelievable. You'd be talking the whole week of like, dude, do they come out hot because they're already down?
Nothing. We gotta come out. We gotta be aggressive.
Do you know why it would work, though? Do you know why it would fucking work? Because there is a fallacy. Americans do this funny thing, man. They go, soccer, it's so low scoring. I'm like, homie, it's the same kind of scoring as the NFL. It's just that the fucking goals count for 6 fucking points.
One instead of 7. Yeah.
For no reason. So it's completely fucking arbitrary. But a 3-1 is a very common scoreline.
21-7.
21-7. Bang. Because the fucking extra points are a gimme. And there's little complicated things about the 2-point conversions and stuff. I get it. But, you know, you could do so much fun shit with that, with a home and away leg. You could do so much fun shit with that.
Wow.
And it's just one more game, guys.
What an idea.
And then the same team plays each other twice, and it's like different stuff emerges. There's a longer strategy, different home field advantages.
You know, by the end of that 7-game series, bro, you're like deeply entrenched with hate for that fucking other team. You know,
imagine you're Kansas City, right? And you lose the game to the Buffalo Bills 21-7. Everybody that week is going, but they're bringing him back to Arrowhead. They're bringing him back to Arrowhead, dude. They're going to bring him home and they're going to fucking spank him. They're going to beat him 28-0. Cause then it's just the whole strategy of the game is different. The second game is different.
And it's never over because like, even if you,
kick field goals and when you go for it, that's all impacting it.
Yeah. Wow.
It would be so electric, bro. So electric.
That'd be wild.
It's the greatest thing that's ever come into my mind. I swear to God. I think I want to just write a letter to Roger Goodell, like to whom it may concern.
Bro, I mean, but like if what they're looking for is money, right? That's what the NFL is all about. Like we can sit here and talk the amount of money 2 straight championship games would bring in.
Definitely.
Why isn't anyone else talking about this?
And then the teams are then motivated by capital to make it to the NFC, AFC championship.
You get 2 weeks.
Because you get 2 fucking playoff home games. Your gate is out of control for 2 weeks in a row. Everybody in your fan base is piling through the fucking doors of your stadium and buying your concessions.
For the other fucking week. And like, man.
Yeah. Unbelievable. And then the Super Bowl still is a one-off, right? But then the team that comes through just went through a 2-leg fucking
battle tested,
week.
Bro. Just
hell week, battle
even
tested.
still give them that week off, man. You know, like
the amount of comebacks, the crazy comebacks.
Wouldn't that be better than adding in a week 19 or a week 18?
Yeah,
you know,
and then you push it off a week
them?
still. You push it off a week still, and then you get the day off for President's Day after the Super Bowl, or I think it's President's Day. But like,
we're
for
pretty
instance,
smart,
like,
you know that we're smart guys.
Liverpool went in the semifinals of the Champions League. Liverpool went to play Barcelona when Messi was still on Barcelona, and they went to Barcelona. And Barcelona Liverpool were like all over them, but Barcelona were just like so cutting. And Messi scored this free kick that they still play, like highlights this free kick.
I've seen that free kick.
Yeah,
I know exactly.
And you probably see my comment on it. What happened in that fixture though? Because we took them back to Anfield and we beat them 4-0. Right? We put Messi in a fucking box and we went on to the final and won the whole fucking thing. And that day, like we won the final. The final was a cool day. I had a good time. The day we came back against Barcelona is without a doubt one of, if not, I'll be honest, I don't have kids, buddy, if not the greatest fucking day of my life. Watching that unfold was the sexiest thing I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. At one point, Andy Robertson, who is a gruff Scottish left back, Messi was on the floor complaining to the ref, and Andy Robertson ran past him. At this point, we were 1-0 up, and Andy Robertson ran past him and just rubbed his head and like flicked his head off. And I was like, that's how he's treating Messi. We're winning this shit. I was like, we're fucking winning this shit. And then the game, the goal that we went up 4-0, they were asleep on a corner, and our fucking right back, corner taken quickly, just puts it in, and our fucking striker's just paying attention. Boom, 4-0. I was watching videos of Shakira crying at home with her children because she was married to Gerald Piqué. I was living in this victory for I'm so excited to watch it, and it's because of the 2-leg system. Yeah. It's because everyone knew the pressure started to mount that week. Barcelona were like, fuck. Anfield's a really, really hard place to go. It really sucks that they have the second home field advantage on the second game. So that's all part of the strategy, right? And then away goals count for more, but then they got rid of that rule, which I don't think we should bring that into our new NFL idea. I just
no.
Points.
Even points are points. Yeah,
but
100%.
I just think it's so fair because both teams get a home game.
And then you never have that bullshit of like the coin toss or like any of that shit. Nothing. Or like this bullshit. 2 weeks, bro. 2 weeks.
Vegas would love it.
Know who
the lines you could give individual game bets, like for them to still win the fixture, double legs, parlay odds on the 2 games. Oh. Come on. It's a
Bro,
fucking
I'm sitting here
no-brainer.
with a boner just thinking about that. Just thinking of my bro. I plus 250 for this team. Like, let's go. Come on.
It's a fucking
Yeah.
no-brainer, bro. It's
Yeah.
a no-brainer. I think that's a great way to end the show. I want everyone to
I
marinate.
like it, bro. Yeah, I want input. If anyone out there is listening to this, tell me what you think, because
Let us know.
this is an idea.
This is a
Roger,
good one. We might start
Roger,
to have to
listen
put
up,
this
bro.
one together.
Listen, Roger, listen.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening. This has been MTP. We'll be back next week with obviously more discussion about the power rankings after another probably riveting game week of NFL football. So thank you so much. This has been Missing the Point.
Are you a fan of classic cinema or a young person who wants to discover the best films of all time? Do these legendary movies still hold up?
On the Generation Film podcast, two guys who grew up when movies dominated the culture share a great film with a panel of young movie lovers and see how it plays for today's generation.
We discuss changes in storytelling styles, representation,
The making of each film, its initial reception, and how its meaning has changed over the years.
Join us as we explore cinema classics across generations on Generation Film.
Electricast. Step inside the marketing mirror to uncover marketing secrets, discover gems, tactics, lessons, and campaigns you can use, next gen or fundamentals. Grab the marketing magic to improve your marketing and win more business. Electricast. Electricast.